History is not written by those who speak the loudest. It is written by those who remain when silence fails. I learned that the day an AlienQueen looked directly into my eyes and whispered, "This never happened." She was wrong. Beginning, the event that was erased. My name is Adrian Cole, human historical archivist, seconded to the Galactic Concordance, a vast alliance of civilizations that claim to value truth, stability, and shared memory. Humans had been invited for one specific reason. We were unusually stubborn about recording things exactly as they happened. The Concordance called it a flaw. We called it survival. I was stationed on Aurelian Prime, the capital world of the Velothi Empire, home to Queen Sailthera, one of the oldest and most powerful rulers in known space. The Velothi were ancient, elegant, and terrifyingly controlled. Their society was built on continuity. Nothing disruptive was allowed to survive long enough to become history. That was why I was nervous when I received the summons. Not from a minister, not from a council, from the Queen herself. The message was brief. You will attend the Ascension Hall. Alone. I knew enough about Velothi protocol to understand what that meant. Humans were never alone with the Queen. Ever. She ruled through layers of ceremony, intermediaries, and ritual distance. Something had already gone wrong. The Ascension Hall was massive, carved from a single piece of living crystal that pulsed faintly with internal light. The air hummed with restrained energy. At the center stood the Queen, tall and radiant, her crown floating inches above her head as if gravity itself feared touching her. Around us, the chamber doors sealed. No guards. No witnesses. No recordings, at least none the Velothi knew about. "Archivist Cole," she said, her voice resonating not just in sound but in pressure. "You are here because history requires correction." I swallowed. "History doesn't like being corrected, Your Majesty." Her eyes, fractured prisms of gold and violet, narrowed slightly. "History," she said, "likes obedience." The moment that changed everything. She gestured, and the center of the hall came alive. A holographic projection expanded outward, forming a three-dimensional recreation of a recent event. A battle. No, an incident. A Velothi fleet, vast and unstoppable, facing a small human convoy near the Carthos expanse. The official record stated that the humans had violated restricted space and been peacefully redirected. That was a lie. I watched as the projection showed what really happened. The human ships hadn't fired first. They hadn't fired at all. The Velothi fleet had opened fire without warning. And then something impossible happened. One human vessel, a damaged science ship, had activated an experimental drive. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A temporal anchor. The ship didn't attack the Velothi fleet. It anchored the surrounding space-time, freezing the moment of destruction for exactly 3 seconds. 3 seconds was nothing. 3 seconds was everything. In that frozen instant, Velothi weapon systems failed. Their predictive algorithms collapsed. Their flawless coordination, so dependent on future state modeling, fell apart. When time resumed, the human convoy escaped. The Velothi fleet survived. But the Queen had felt something she had never felt before. Uncertainty. She turned off the projection. "This never happened," she said softly. I said nothing. "You will remove this event from the Concordance archives," she continued. "You will ensure no record remains. No analysis. No speculation." I met her gaze. "With respect, Your Majesty," I said, "I can't do that." Her presence intensified. The crystal hall vibrated. "You misunderstand," she said. "You will." That was when I did something very human. I activated my private recorder. Why history refused to die. The Velothi believed humans were technologically inferior. They were wrong. We didn't have better weapons. We didn't have older empires. We didn't have queens worshipped as living constants. What we had was redundancy. I had already transmitted a compressed record of the event to 3 independent human archives, 2 AI historians, and 1 off-grid memory vault maintained by a retired journalist on Mars. The Queen sensed the shift. "What did you do?" she asked. "I made sure," I replied, "that this happened." Silence fell. Not the ceremonial silence of Velothi ritual, but something raw and unfamiliar. "You risk war," she said. "No," I replied. "I risk truth." She approached me slowly, each step deliberate. "Truth destabilizes civilizations." "So does pretending nothing ever changes," I said. For the first time, the Queen hesitated. "You do not understand the Velothi," she said. "Our power comes from continuity, from the belief that we are inevitable." I nodded. "And humans come from believing nothing is." She studied me for a long moment. "Erase it," she whispered again, "for your own species' safety." I shook my head. That moment, I said, proved something the galaxy isn't ready for, but needs to learn. "And what is that?" she asked. "That even perfect systems can be surprised," I replied, "and that humans notice the cracks." Her crown flickered. That was when she leaned close and said the words that would echo across centuries. "This never happened." Then she opened the doors and dismissed me. The cover-up. Within hours, the official records were altered. The battle was removed. The human convoy never existed. The Velothi fleet had conducted a routine patrol. The Concordance accepted it. Most species did. But history has a way of leaking. Human historians began asking questions. AI analysts noticed inconsistencies in energy fluctuations near the Carthos expanse. Independent traders reported sensor anomalies. Old Velothi veterans started remembering things they were told to forget. And the story spread, not as a headline, but as a whisper. "Did you hear about the 3 seconds? Did you hear about the moment the Velothi froze?" The Queen responded swiftly. She ordered purges of records, memory edits among her own people, diplomatic pressure on human leadership. But humans didn't back down. We published nothing official. We did something worse. We taught the story. At academies. In simulations. In whispered lectures titled Hypothetical Failure Scenarios. History, once seeded, does not require permission to grow. Ending. When history disagrees. 50 years later, I was old. The galaxy had changed. The Velothi Empire still existed, but it no longer claimed inevitability. New treaties limited its military reach. Other species began developing strategies based not on perfection, but on resilience. Humanity became something new in the Concordance. Not rulers, not conquerors, archivists of inconvenient truth. I was invited back to Aurelian Prime one last time. The Queen was still alive, older, diminished, but no less regal. We met again in the Ascension Hall. "This never happened," she said, repeating the words like a ritual. I smiled gently. "Your Majesty," I replied. History disagreed. She looked away. "The galaxy changed because of a moment," she said quietly. "A moment I tried to erase." "Yes," I said. "And because humans refused to." She studied me, then gave a slow, deliberate nod. "Perhaps," she said, "that is why your species endures." As I left the hall, my recorder still active, I realized something profound. The most powerful force in the universe isn't time, or weapons, or empires. It's memory. And no matter how softly a queen whispers this never happened, history listens to those who remember.